G'day legends, in this video I spend a couple of amazing days riding the new Tank 7 mountain bike trails with some mates. Make sure you stick around to the end to find out what happened that completely blew my mind.
Oh, come on!
I'd been dreaming of getting down to Nannup for ages, and when the Queen's birthday long weekend popped up, it was the perfect opportunity. A rough plan came together to ride with Aly and Sam on Sunday and Elijah on Monday. This was going to be good. I arrived at the trailhead early and headed up for a quick solo lap. This isn't the new single track, just in case you were wondering, but it did turn out to be a nice direct way to the top. At this first trailhead there were a heap of options to choose from, but if interactive maps are more your thing, then the experienced Nannup app is definitely worth a look. It's got a detailed map of Tank 7 and is jam-packed with information about other trails in the area and general tourist stuff as well. I chose to warm up on Eagle Eye, a blue all-mountain trail. It was just a good fun trail with a bit of everything and nothing too crazy. The scenery was beautiful and it was interesting to spot the transition between the young and the mature pines. I was hoping to get a couple more descents in before Sam arrived, and after climbing some lovely switchbacks I dropped into fade to black. The start was mellow, but it got more challenging towards the bottom, and I stopped a couple of times to check out some of the drops. Funga! I'd heard this was a good trail, and it did not disappoint. Fast and flowy with plenty of opportunities to get some air. Happy days. Sam arrived and wanted to get stuck straight into some black trails. He'd ridden Outlaws before and promised me that I'd be fine, but after casing the very first feature, I wasn't so sure. It was an amazing trail, but I'd need a few more runs to get comfortable with it. This A-line drop would definitely have to wait for another day. The jumps after looked tricky. We sessioned this drop for a bit, taking a conservative approach. It looked like you could send the whole lot if you were brave enough. Next we rode the local. There was a cool jump section at the top which started with this interesting jump to the right, a challenging direction for both myself and all left corners Sam. It took me a while to get going, but with Sam's encouragement I eventually got them clean. This right hip jump was a cracker, though I must admit I was really struggling with it, something we probably don't see enough of around Perth. We continued on, gaining some metres and dropping back down for a bit of fun. I even had time for a quick dirt nap. The local crosses a road where man versus machine starts, and we stopped for a quick look. I was quietly hoping that Elijah wouldn't drag me here tomorrow. Back on the local, this blind drop required a little more speed than Sam remembered, and he nearly went OTB. But once we figured it out, it was super fun. Then things got a little steeper and led into this sketchy rock step down with a narrow landing. I was half keen, but Sam tootled past and so I left it for later. Bit of a climb, then into another really cool downhill section. Rock jump followed by this sweet looking left hip. Around the corner, rock drop into berm, then left hip into tabletop. So good. We played around with it for a bit, trying to get it right. And finally we'd reached the end of the local. What an epic trail. After scoffing down some lunch, we eased back into things on the tank to tank trail. I think we were expecting a boring old connecting trail, but that is not what we found. The scenery was gorgeous too, but keep an eye out for fallen trees as they seem to be quite common along here. Aly the big Scotsman had joined the ride as well and seemed to be having a great time. At Tank 7 we were immediately drawn to the Man Up drop. It's an intimidating looking feature with a great view of the madness below. Being a flat drop, I felt that this might be one feature that I could do on this trail. Scary as hell, but yeehaw! Easy Tiger was the blue jump line from the top of Tank 7. It was packed full of tabletop jumps and berms, and quite challenging to get clean. It was fun, but I felt like I needed a few runs to get my bearings properly, to figure out which way the jumps were heading. We knocked out a couple of laps, then headed back up. It was time to get serious. Flyless scene, wow. This is what dreams are made of. These tight, twisty berms were like nothing I'd ever ridden before. They led into the first big jump on the trail, a beautiful step up. We had a few goes trying to build up the courage to stay off the brakes. Then it was on to the next feature, this big step down. Sam had a go, and that was all the encouragement I needed not to try it. Feeling tired and with a lot to think about, we rolled down the rest of the trail for a look. We were just about stuffed, but Aly and I rode up for one last ascent while Sam kept an eye on the refreshments. We chose Blindside, a technical blue trail with a good view of the valley, and it was the perfect way to end the day. Today I was riding with Elijah, well, for the first 50 metres of each trail at least. I wasn't surprised to find Elijah here at the gnarly A-line rock drop. He had a good hard look at it, trying to imagine a scenario where his new bike didn't get destroyed. I was happy that he gave it a miss, but do you remember those tricky looking jumps straight after? Like a boss. We headed for the local next, and Elijah gave me a great demo of how to send the right hip jump. I had a few goes but couldn't quite get it. Something to work on for the future. We stopped for another look at this sketchy rock step down, and Elijah decided to go for it. This gave me confidence to have a go as well. Further down, the left hip jump felt sweet, and the big tabletop at the bottom was begging to be sent. Now that we were properly warmed up, it was time for another challenge, and we were both thinking the same thing, flylessine. Elijah dropped in for the first time ever, brimming with confidence as usual. When he pulled over at the first step up, I felt quite happy with myself for hitting it. Never mind that it was Elijah's first time seeing it. However, that feeling didn't last for very long, and I don't think I'll ever forget what I saw next.
Okay, back up and do it again.
So it really, as much speed as you can get.
Those berms are so tight. And I didn't know what was coming up. Everything's so tight, you're like, when am I going to come around the corner and just go off a cliff? Yeah. So, sender, double, hip, jump. What's that thing down? Oh, berm to a shark fin round, big tabletop. Yeah. Was another hip.
To say I was speechless is an understatement. How does he do that? Not sure why I was still holding the camera at this point. I was blown away by what I had just seen, but in a way it made perfect sense. All that jump practice at the goat farm was definitely paying off for Elijah. We headed back up and it was Elijah's turn to hit the man up drop. Yeehaw! Unfortunately, I had to head off shortly after this, but Elijah was kind enough to upload his GoPro footage so that I could see what else he got up to. I've included it at the end of this video and it's got a couple of pants-shitting moments, so make sure you stick around. Many thanks to Sam, Aly and Elijah for showing me around. And a huge shout out to all of those involved in making these awesome trails. Finally, thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of the show.
I don't like rocks. And drop into the local. Oh, straight. Don't get me every time.